Thank you for tuning in to Beastwatch News Brief at the most current and comprehensive Bible prophecy website on the internet, beastwatchnews.com. All Bible prophecy news, all the time. Stay tuned for news! Russia's sudden and surprising appearance in Syria seems to have taken the world by surprise. Putin has even left Obama speechless. Pentagon personnel are agitated about Russia's intentions, and now, for the first time in modern history, China is racing to provide its presence in the Middle East, too. It seems that America has lost its supremacy in the region, and there will be consequences. Many believe Russia's presence is a precursor to the Gog-Magog or the Psalm 83 wars. Most certainly, Russia's presence in Syria is a threat to Israel, who can no longer fly into Syrian airspace to monitor Iranian, Syrian, Hezbollah, or Islamic State activities on the ground. But a war with Israel is not Putin's main goal, and should such a war occur, it will be collateral damage in Russia's war with the U.S. What the world is witnessing is a changing of the guard, a shift in global power from America to Russia and its allies, by asserting economic and military dominance over the U.S. in the Middle East. Already, Obama seems to be throwing in the towel. China is allying with Russia to send its own message that the U.S. is no longer the world's greatest economic and military power. Together, Russia and China's military might far outweigh the United States' firepower. Add to that Iran and North Korea, and one might just as well surrender the U.S. to that axis right now. The U.S. does not have the economic or military strength to combat that grouping of allies. There is confusion in the media about whether or not Russia is fighting ISIL and ISIS, or the Free Syrian Rebel Army, or both. Pundits fail to see the larger picture. Putin is not as interested in Obama's CIA-created armies as he is in controlling the Middle East oil found in the Shiite countries of Iran, Iraq, and Syria. His interest in that oil is for good reason. Putin is moving to dominate U.S. and European oil interests in the Middle East, a move intended to severely weaken the U.S. and its allies before doing what he really wants to do, which is to attack American soil. He is retaliating against Obama for the economic war waged against Russia by fomenting the ongoing Ukraine conflict. The effects to the Russian economy were devastating. So, therein lies Russia's agenda. Putin is pushing for a war fought directly between the U.S. and the Russian, Chinese, North Korean, Iranian axis, using the Middle East as the trigger. The first attack on America will be economic. Before a military operation on U.S. soil ever begins, Putin will cut off U.S. and European access to Middle East oil. Western nations who are dependent on Middle East oil imports will find themselves begging Russia for it. Europe's natural gas supply has already been diminished because the major supply route through Ukraine has been reduced by Russia. Now, the EU will see a reduction in oil as well. Their need for fossil fuels could cause them to attack the West Bank to keep the peace, which will certainly be one of their goals, but their other goal will be to get their hands on Israel's natural gas and oil. Ezekiel 38 calls it the spoil. Obama foolishly cut off the Keystone Pipeline in favor of Middle East oil development among the Sunni nations, with an eye toward cutting the Shiites, Iran, Iraq, and Syria, out of the oil market. America's fracking operations cannot supply America's oil needs, thus there will be a lack of supply in the United States if Russia gets its way. Russia will be waging a like-kind economic war against the United States. Second, Russia is destroying ISIL and ISIS and is now befriending the Free Syrian Army, both of which were created by the CIA under Obama. The Free Syrian Army has been used as a backdoor supplier for ISIL and ISIS because it is Obama's real army, the one he intends to use to conquer the world. Russia has accused him of this in a backhanded way by saying Obama is not serious about destroying ISIL and ISIS. Putin knows who created ISIL and ISIS and their purpose. Now he is slapping Obama around with them. Third, Russia's presence in the Middle East could have other consequences. One of these is that it might cause Syria and Hezbollah to attack Israel in fulfillment of the Psalm 83 war. Psalm 83 verses 3 to 8 says, "They plot against your people and conspire against your cherished ones. They say, 'Let us go and erase them as a nation, so the name of Israel will not be remembered anymore.' Indeed, they shrewdly planned together, forming an alliance against you, the tents of Edom, the Ishmaelites, Moab, the Hagrites, Gebal, Ammon, Amalek, Philistia, and the inhabitants of Tyre. Even Assyria joined them to strengthen the descendants of Lot." The purpose of this Psalm 83 alliance is ultimately to strengthen the descendants of Lot. In the tents of the Edomites are a grouping of ancient biblical nations, but the nations most people will recognize today are the Edomites, Iran, Assyria, modern Syria, and the descendants of Lot, or Lebanon. Russia, whether deliberately or not, is instigating Syria and Lebanon to attack Israel. This is happening because Russia supplies Syria with weapons, and Syria passes some of it to Hezbollah. Iran, Syria, and Hezbollah are now making inroads in the Kalamun Mountains that border Golan and are setting up war positions there. The Islamic State and Hezbollah have been fighting for position in the Kalamun Mountains for several months. With Russia rooting out ISIL and ISIS elsewhere, Hezbollah has once again made inroads against ISIL and ISIS in the mountains, which is a threat to Israel. Russia's backing of Israel's enemies will be the trigger for their attacking Israel. Russia's military presence in Syria paves the way for war in Israel with the House of Judah, as well as war with the House of Israel in the United States. Americans will one day be surprised to discover that Russia has swooped down on them as quickly as it did in Syria. This is Beastwatch News Daily Update. See these and other stories at beastwatchnews.com. Bible prophecy news every day except Shabbat.